And hello, everyone. Welcome to another power scanning session. My name is Daniel Cynic, and I am greeting you once again from our beautiful office here in Montreal, in Canada. And once again, we are going to be on the lookout for the most interesting setups for the week ahead. And boy, what an interesting week it was once again. And once again, I think we are at a crossroads. So, what this means in terms of the global markets and which symbols stocks and ETFs are most interesting right now for the week and weeks ahead, we're going to discover today in this webinar. But before we get started, let me ask you guys a question. Where are you calling in from? So I'm calling in from Montreal. Nicholas is also in the room. He's also calling in from Montreal. But where are you guys calling in from? Who do we have? Please put your location into the Q&A box. So we have somebody from Germany, Berlin. I don't think that's your right name. Aubrey from Cyprus. Aubrey, sunny Cyprus, of course, always. Stephen from Singapore. Oh, that's awesome. Hi, Stephen. How are you? Uh, yeah. I've been to Singapore in November. What a beautiful city you have. Very steamy and hot, but yeah, a beautiful place. Gerd from Coesfeld, Germany. Hey, Gerd. Werner from Frankfurt. Hi, Werner. How's it going? Chris from Northern California. Hey, Chris. Freiburg, we have from Germany. Brian from Vancouver. Oh, that's nice. West Coast Canada. Hey, Brian, how's it going? Lars from Munich. Hey, Lars. Christian from Hamburg, Germany. That's very close to where I'm from. I'm from Rostock. How's it going? Henry from Milwaukee. Robert from San Diego. Udo from Osnabrück in Germany. Hi, Udo. How's it going? Thomas from the Black Forest in Germany. Nice. Stephen says hi. He's good. And we have Faith from Palm Springs, California. Andrea from Alexandria. Oh, what a coincidence. Andrea from Alexandria in the US. John from Austin, Texas. Wow, what an international crowd once again here in our or during our live scanning session. Guys, it's very humbling for me that you guys are joining us week after week from truly all over the world to see which setups are of the most interest to us for the week ahead. So thank you guys so much for this. This is really our motivation of why we are having these sessions. So thanks guys so much for joining us. And if you are joining us, oh, unless we have somebody from Halle, Germany. Oh, that's nice. Perfect. Okay, so if you are joining us for the very first time, a quick introduction. So my name is Daniel Cynic, and I am with tradingindicators.com, yeah, a company that specializes on building innovative trading tools, trading solutions, and we have built solutions for clients all over the world. Most of them are based on what is called technical analysis, which is basically a pattern analysis of your price chart. We believe that fundamentals are almost immediately priced in. And by analyzing a price chart from a technical point of view, you will indirectly also take into account fundamental information. We also believe that trading should be simple, and trading is simple. But two things. First, you need to use the right tools. One such tool we're going to show you today. And secondly, you need to know what to look for, what really matters when it comes to the markets. So both of these things are of key importance. So before we get into it, two more things. Nicholas is also in the room today, and he's going to look out for your questions. So if you have any questions or symbol requests, please don't hold back. Make this webinar your own. This webinar is for you, so please ask as many questions as you can. Secondly, which is also important, please, if you trade, it doesn't matter what you trade, futures, forex, stocks, or any other asset class, please keep in mind that trading does contain substantial risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. All right. So before we get into it, a couple of housekeeping items. Number one, and Nicholas, please put this link into the chat box. Our bootcamp, our comprehensive bootcamp, it's a 2-hour bootcamp about the Liquidity View dashboard, is available online. Simply go to tradingindicators.com/bootcamp to learn all the cool features that we've built into this dashboard. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is actually the second bootcamp that we are recording. The first one was recorded about maybe 6 months ago, give or take. But since then, we have added so many new features to the dashboard that we had to record the second one because all these new features also need to be explained properly. And this has been done in this bootcamp. So this is number one. Number two, of course, if you have not joined our Discord channel yet, please do so. The link is tradingindicators.com/Discord. And once you are in our Discord channel, just quickly go to this web page 1 second. You can see the following. So I'm going to open up our Discord channel. It will open up directly in your browser or your app, whatever you use. And once you go to our server, tradingindicators.com, you can see, for example, in our Talk Trading channel, this one here, you can see announcements, of course, on the weekend where the markets are closed. Typically, you see the announcements, but you can also see during the week all the interesting trade setups that we have been considering in our own trading throughout the week. You can see, for example, here we're actually sharing also our performance. Yeah, where did we enter? Where did we exit a trade? Or which trades do we currently have open? This is being shared here, but not just by us, also by other users. Yeah, who share with us. Say, what are they trading? What, for example, is David trading? David, I think, is also from Germany. He's been very active in our Discord channel, for example. So all these things are being shared here in our Discord channel. So please, perhaps check it out to see if this could be of interest to you. And one last thing, which is also super interesting, is we do have real-time trade alerts here in our free alerts session. And these trade alerts are for day traders on the smaller time frames, but also for swing traders and longer-term traders on the larger time frames. So for example, here, if I go to the 5-minute and scroll all the way down, you can see here that at 12 p.m., just 8 minutes ago, we had a new alert coming in, alerting us that we currently do have a short bounce setup on the 5-minute time frame on Ethereum. Yeah, so short bounce setup and these kind of things. Yeah, you are being alerted to when you are joining our Discord channel. All right. Perfect. And somebody told me that the sound was lost. Hopefully the sound is okay. Nicholas, can you confirm that my sound is okay?
There hasn't been an audio drop off on my end.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you for this. Okay, so this is Discord. Please check it out. The other thing I wanted to point out real quick is that you don't have access to the pro version of our dashboard yet, which we call the Liquidity View dashboard. It is not too late because we do offer a full week of a free trial. And you can simply go to tradingindicators.com/view to sign up for this trial. And the cool thing is you will get instant access to it. And this goes really fast. You get a confirmation email. You create your account. This takes less than a minute. And then you can, load up the dashboard and follow along our scanning process. And one last thing, we do have an ebook available at this link here, tradingindicators.com/power-of-3. Nicholas, please also put this link into the chat box. In this ebook, you can learn all the details about our favorite setups that we are considering in this scanning session. All right. So, and if you have any feedback, perhaps something to be added to the dashboard or something that perhaps it's not as intuitive as it could be, please also don't hold back. Send us your feedback either by email or put it directly in the Q&A box, and we're going to discuss. We're going to review these suggestions, and if possible, we're going to integrate this into a future version of our dashboard. And we've been very active when it comes to new features. Almost every week, a new feature has been introduced. All right. So with this, without further ado, let's get started with our market review. So I'm going to go to our dashboard. 1 second. I have so many browser windows open. No, so I'm going to go here, view.tradingindicators.com. There we go. All right, I'm going to log in to our dashboard. Okay. And Berlin, BL tells me he didn't get access to the pro version. Please send me a quick email at ds@tradingindicators.com. Maybe our confirmation email landed up in your spam folder, or perhaps it was blocked by your provider. Some German email providers, they are blocking our emails for some reason. Not sure why. Please send me a quick message afterwards, and we're gonna make this work. Don't worry. Okay, so moving on. So what's going on in our markets? Okay, let's start with the SPY. And I said in the beginning, we are to some degree at a crossroads. It's going to be very exciting of what is going to happen in the next weeks in the markets. So what's going on? Okay, so let me just make this a little bit bigger. We can see here, yeah, what has happened in the SPY. Well, first off, last week, of course, we've discussed it in length. We broke below not only support, but also below our trend channel. And price stopped directly at this third line of our MA rush indicator. You can see here, price went down to this third line. The line is now pointing down, or it went sideways here. And, as soon as it points down, it's going to turn red as well. So we stopped here, which on this line sometimes acts as dynamic support. And not just this line, but also any line. We can see it here. Here, price went to the second line. Here, price went to the first line and then bounced off a little bit. So this can be interpreted as dynamic support. But the big question, of course, now is what to expect next. First off, so we broke below this support level. We can see it here. This was a support level. We broke below it. Price went down, retraced upwards. And what does this setup remind you of? We are breaking support. Price initially follows through, and then the correction upwards. This is our classic zone break retrace setup. Typically, we are only considering this setup for bullish moves. But in this case, it happened for a bearish move. So zone break retrace, we went to this broken support level, which is now acting as a resistance. I can see it here. And then it went further down. So should we have traded this to the short side? Wow, risky call, because overall, of course, we are in a very bullish trend in the SPY. Since the 12th of May 2023, we are bullish. Ideally, I don't like to go against the macro trend. We can see the macro trend, of course, is bullish. But as you can see here, we could have probably made some profits out of this to short the SPY here and then, expect a move further down. Now, the big question is, what's going to be happening next? So if this was the classic zone break retrace setup, we are going to see another leg further down. Yeah, this is definitely a possibility. But why? Because this move down here, this was a 10% move. And by the way, this was the fifth fastest 10% drop in the SPY in 75 years. But this doesn't happen too often, that these quick moves downwards are happening. So this happened. We got the correction upwards. But, this could just be a correction within a correction. Downwards move, a little bit up. We are facing former support, now acting as resistance. And there's a distinct possibility that we will see another leg further down. That's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's definitely on the table. And if we do, I think the next stop will be here around the 510 area. Yeah, because this looks to me, just a correction within this downwards move. If we see this, then yeah, this will be our next stop. If we will go above this former support area, now acting as resistance, then I think we'll be in good shape. But we need to get above this level, at least to 580, 585. If we manage to do this, then I think new highs will be in play. If not, then as mentioned before, if we go below our former lows here at 547, I think the next stop will be here at 510. That's my take on this. So I'm going to wait on the sidelines to see how the market will play out. Super exciting times. Of course, we're all hoping that it will recover, because most of us probably are positioned to the long direction. And it is possible if we manage to get above 585. But if not, then this would be our next step. All right. So what is next? QQQ. How does it look in the QQQs, our NASDAQ 100 ETF? All right. So here, it's actually quite similar, but the technicals are not the same. Not exactly the same, at least, because here we don't have our zone break retrace setup. Why not? Well, because this move, if you measure this, I said this was a 10%
Daniel,
move. Yes.
Could I cut you off for a second? I
Yes.
think, well, Anne had a question, but I think also she's making a point. So Anne says, Daniel, you are sharing the dashboard, correct? And everything is included in that. So I think that question is kind of, is everything that we're showing here included?
Yeah.
But also there seems to be something on the bottom of the screen that's covering the bottom of the dashboard.
Oh, yeah. This is,
Y-
yeah,
Yeah,
this one here,
uh,
huh? I'm
yeah,
not
we
sure what
see
that
that
is. That
block.
is yeah, I don't think I can fix this part here. I can scroll up a little bit. So please ignore this bottom here. This is for my PowerPoint slide. Not
Oh,
sure
it's just
why.
covering your taskbar, I guess.
Yeah, something is off of my laptop. So I don't think I can fix it right now in this second, but for the next webinar for sure. But I'm gonna scroll up a little bit so you can see the entire price line here and the date line as well.
Perfect. And yep, everything here Daniel's showing today is included
Yeah,
in the dashboard.
yeah, and just real quick, since this was such a nice segue, if you go to tradingindicators.com/view, you can actually see what is exactly included. So here you have a couple of videos explaining the dashboard, the recording from last week, and all the other stuff that's included in the pro version of this dashboard. Yeah. All right. So moving on. Okay. So this is a distinct possibility that we're going to see another leg further down. Oftentimes, the QQQs and the SPY, they are to some degree correlated. So I think if one is happening, the other one will be happening too. But here it's a bit different in the QQQs because this downwards move, if I measure this from our all-time high here on Feb 19 down to our low on 13th of March was 13.73%, even a bigger move, a downwards move. And now we, corrected a little bit further to the upside. But here, our broken support and resistance level, they are further away. So we are nowhere near this level. We didn't have this initial zone break retrace in this case, but also here, we are at a crossroads for sure, because this could just be a correction of this downwards move. And then we're going to see another leg further down. If we do, next stop would be here at 422. If we manage to get above this level here, which is going to be key, the 504, 505 level, then I think new all-time highs will be in play as well. So both are correlated. If one moves, the other one will move as well. And I will definitely not double down QQQ and SPY trading both in the same direction. I personally would stay on the sidelines actually to see once we have a bit more clarity. Whether this was a correction within a correction. We see one leg further down. For this, we would need to go below these lows at 465. Or if we get above 508, then I think new all-time highs will be in play for the QQQs. All right, what about the Russell IWM? Also exciting for the Russell. And here it's once again a little bit different. Look what happened here. And this was beautiful. A very tradable signal. We called it out I think it was in our lunch and learn session. Now, actually, at that point, I was contemplating, because in our lunch and learn sessions on Tuesdays, we always have a trade of the day. I was contemplating to call this one out as a bounce trade to the long side because we were in the Russell at this key support level. You can see it here. Price went to this level almost to the T, and then we had this beautiful bounce to the upside. So then, of course, a bit of a correction here, but here, I'm kind of bullish in the Russell. We may see a bit of another leg down to the support level, but I think it's going to hold. Worst case, we're going to go to this level here at 191. And then we're going to see a bounce in the Russell. This is what my intuition tells me, because the Russell has been punished a lot. Even before we saw this big move down in the SPY and QQQ, the Russell was already trending downwards. It now found key support. And my intuition tells me, hey, this is likely going to hold. And we're going to see another leg further up. All right. So that was the Russell. What about gold? Oh, I'm still upset about gold that I was too timid. You can see it here beautifully. You see this little square here. This was my entry price for gold to go long. This beautiful zone break retrace setup. And I said, hey, I'm going to wait until price gets even closer to this level. I didn't get the chance. Price went up almost immediately. It didn't retrace to my entry zone. I missed out on this trade. Too bad. Of course, now we've seen all-time highs here in gold. A bit of a down day on Friday, but to me, just a shallow correction. And what's interesting, we're going to look at Tesla in just a bit, is that this was, yeah, This was the gap fill almost to the dot of this bar here. So in the GLD, and we're going to talk about gaps today. And by the way, we have big projects about a new gap indicator. So Niklas already showed me some prototypes last week, and I think it's going to be really interesting. Here we had this gap up. From this bar, we gapped up to this bar here. So this gap was just filled on Friday. And that's no coincidence. These gaps tend to get filled over time. And here we wick down just to fill this gap. Price went down with the low here, just a little bit below the close price of this bar. Gap fill, and I think next stop in gold will be another leg further up. So here my bet would be we're going to see all-time highs next week once again in gold. Would I go long right here? Maybe not. Once again, I'm timid. I'm waiting for a deeper correction, at least towards one of our MA rush lines here. If we see it, then this would be a great opportunity to get long gold. Right now, I think we're too extended. Price is too far away from its averages here. All right. And one last thing, oil. USO. All right. What's going on in oil? Yeah, oil bounced nicely off this key support level here at the six around the 69 area with liquidity capture, and then we've been trading higher. And this just continues the sideways move or the sideways trend that oil has been in for 2-3 years now. Yeah, we're trending between 83 and 6 in the 60 area here, back and forth, is just continuing sideways, sideways, sideways. But I don't know, a little bit, at least it seems to me that this is a contracting channel. Yeah, and in some degree, we're in a bullish trend. Yeah, it is wedging to the upside. That's a wedge, not a very clean one, but it seems like a wedge. And of course, here for a next bullish move, of course, we would need to go all the way up here above our 83 area for a promising breakout. But at least it's a bit of a wedge formation, which might, it's very speculative that, hey, we're going to see a leg further up in oil. If we do, yeah, then if we get this breakout happens, I think much higher levels will be in play. But of course, this is speculative. This is a clear wedge formation here, or to some degree at least, at least a very slight upwards facing wedge. But I mean, it's mainly sideways. But who knows what's going to happen? All right, and what else do we have? Let's have a quick look, guys, at the setups that we found last week. Because as I told you, even though markets have been going down for the most part, at least in the indexes, there are always stocks which are going against the stream, which are thriving despite the bearish market. And we've been quite successful in finding these picks, these stocks. So let's have a quick look what happened last week. So I'm going to open up our watch list from last week. I'm going to go to my scanner here. I'm going down to my watch list from last week, March 15, and let's see what we had. Let's start with Arthur Gallagher. And somebody called this stock. This stock is I think a machine, or it's very mighty. It's been bullish for 1,198 trading days. And we said, hey, this is a beautiful long zone break retrace setup. So this was yesterday's chart. Just 1 second. Once this opens up, it's just there we go. This is not yesterday, so last week's chart. We said, hey, we're gonna enter along here this position and see how beautifully this zone break retrace has panned out. We're trading already much higher here. We're 10 points up at 331 right now. So this one is doing nicely as expected with Arthur Gallagher. A beautiful stock, long-term uptrend. All the pullbacks have been bought up fairly quickly. Here we had another pullback, bought up, and now we're going towards higher levels in Arthur J. Gallagher. What about Ligand Pharmaceuticals? All right. Also here, you can see the beautiful bounce setup. Long-term uptrend, 282 trading days. We're trading at the lower end of this parallel channel, I would say, at the support level. And he was saying, hey, we're going to speculate on a bounce to the upside, which seems to have come to life in the last week. So also here, we are in good shape. Seneca Foods, another one. Yeah. Beautiful zone break retrace. One of my favorite setups. Look what happened here. We wicked into our entry zone. And also here, we are trading now at higher levels around 88. T-Mobile US. Somebody said, hey, we should be careful with T-Mobile US. And yes, I believe this stock has been in somewhat of financial trouble. But also here, look at this beautiful bounce of this former resistance level to the upside. Also here we are right now in good shape, and we had Visa and one more to come. So also Visa bounced nicely, zone break retrace, and this was our trade of the week in our newsletter, the XLC Communications ETF. Look at this beautiful bounce off our support level to the upside. It's also a long-term bullish symbol. Nice level 4 pullback here in trend radar. Yeah, and here the idea was, hey, we're gonna anticipate a bounce to the upside, which seems to come to fruition, at least as far as we can tell right now. All right, so we're off to a good start from last week, but of course this week we're trying to repeat the entire thing. So let's see which setups are of interest for this week. All right, so quickly back to my slides, because we're going to be on the lookout once again for high reward and low risk setups. And we're going to use our dashboard, of course, for this. Now, what is going to be our process? Well, it's going to be fairly simple. First off, we're going to focus on one setup at a time. And today, once again, I'm going to focus on two setups. Our bounce setup combined with a healthy pullback, and our zone break retrace setup. Our most proven setups that we have found over time. Based on what we see, we're going to create a hot list, a watch list of these setups. And then towards the end of the session, we're going to go through these stocks in that watch list one by one to qualify or disqualify them as trade ideas for the week ahead. Okay, so let's get started. As mentioned, we're going to start off with our bounce setup combined with a healthy pullback scenario. So what's a healthy pullback? Real quick, for a healthy pullback, we need to be in a long-term uptrend. That's very important. A stock must be trending to the bullish side. That's condition number one. Condition number two is we need to see a bit of a break, a pause in trend, a correction to the downside. Not too much, just the right amount. Okay, for example, we see it here. Long-term uptrend, a correction to the downside. And how do we know if it's the right amount? Well, for this, we're going to use our trend radar indicator, the one down here, to look for a level for pullback. The first 4 rows of our trend radar indicator need to be red, while the last row, the longer term trend row here, needs to be green. This indicates to us, hey, this is a healthy pullback. The longest term trend is still bullish. We're just seeing a pause in trend. And if you look at the pattern here, every single time, of course, it doesn't have to be like this all the time, but every single time this was bought. And had you entered into position every time you see a healthy pullback, well, you could have been very successful with this particular stock. So this is a very reliable pattern, especially when combined with a long-term trend. And secondly, if you combine the whole thing with the fact that, hey, if the stock at the same time trades near support level, you can even amplify your success rates for this particular setup. All right, so we also need to trade near a support level, which will increase the odds that we may bounce up to the long side from the support level. Okay, so enough talking. Let's see how we can see this in the dashboard. So back to our dashboard here. I'm going to go to our scanner here. There we go. And we're going to enter these criteria right now into our scanner. So criteria number one was we need to be in an uptrend. All right, we're going to use our MA rush indicator for this. I'm going to say, hey, we're going to be bullish. Now from our 5,007 stocks or symbols that we're scanning through, 2,572 stocks are remaining. All right, half of them filtered away. Only the bullish stocks are of interest to us right now. Number two, we want to see a stock which is currently in a level 4 pullback as per trend radar. How can we find these? Well, for this, we first of all have to enable our pullback column. It's enabled right here. I just scrolled to the right-hand side. By the way, if you don't want to scroll like this, you can always disable some of these columns here. Let me just disable the date column. It's not so important right now. And that way we can see all the columns here. And of course, you can see all the different options that we have in this dashboard as well. Okay, so MA Rush bullish, and we want to be in a level 4 pullback. All right, done. Only 176 stocks are remaining. Here's an example. Abbott Laboratories. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, uptrend. It's bullish. MA Rush is bullish. You can see it here. Let me just find it real quick. There we go. Bullish since March 12, 2024, but currently trading within a healthy pullback. Actually, that's an interesting one. This almost seems to me like a zone break retrace at the same time. Because we're near this resistance level. Actually, this is a very interesting stock. Actually, this is, I kind of coincidentally found this one right now because I didn't even enter all my criteria here, but I'm going to add this one to our watch list because I kind of like this setup, especially if you can get down a little bit further, closer to this broken resistance level now acting as support. Let me just add this one to our list right away. So I'm going to create a new watch list. Setups, colon 2025 03 22. All right, for the new setups. I'm going to add this one to our watch list. And I believe, I forgot, Henry, you had a question. Can you add symbols to a watch list? Well, you just saw it. I created a watch list by clicking on create here. I give it a name. And once created, all you need to do is to right click on the symbol. You pick add to, add the symbol to. You go all the way down to our watch list here. Yeah, this is the one I just created. You click on it, and the symbol has now been added to this watch list. Okay, perfect. So this has been added. I kind of stumbled over this right now, but I like it. And look at this one here. Once again, I mean, I'm so excited about our gap fill indicator. What happened here? We closed here, then we open up here the next day, and this is a gap. This is a sizable gap between close and open. And this gap was just filled here. That's quite a bullish sign. These gap fills are happening over and over again. And sometimes I wonder, especially if you find stocks which are already in kind of a down move, whether these gaps could be a great target to aim for. And now here, look at this. We had another gap. What happened here? We closed here. This is the bearish bar and open all the way down here. This is once again a gap, and this one has not closed yet. This bar tried to do it. It went up to 128, but we didn't close the gap. This is another bullish sign because I think this gap will also be closed in the near future. To the upside, it's kind of the opposite. This was a gap which was close to the downside because there was an up gap. This one here, this was a down gap, which will be close to the upside, I believe, in the near future. Now, this is just another factor why I think this stock could be of interest for the weeks ahead. All right, so where were we? Kind of detoured a little bit. What did we talk about? Oh yeah, long-term bullish level 4 pullback. But there's one more criteria which is of interest. We want the stock to be also near a key support level. So how can we enter this criteria? Well, for this, we're going to use our Liquidity IQ setup column here, and we'll select long bounds, meaning this stock should be trading at the same time near a support level. You can see it here. Not many stocks have survived this very stringent criteria. Only 5 stocks have survived our filtering process. And if we now sort, for example, by duration, we can see here, for example, that Northeast Bancorp is exactly in such a situation right now. NBN. I'm opening it up. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. Look at this one here. Long-term bullish. We're kind of in this sideways consolidation after this very strong up move. This is something I always see over and over again. Look at this strong up move. Very strong from here all the way up to here. Very strong up move. But if this happens, oftentimes, we'll see a lengthy correction. But these can also be opportunities, especially if this correction, this sideways correction, is sizable. And it is in this case, from 89 all the way up here to, I guess, 110. And we're now at the lower end of this. So to me, definitely an interesting candidate for a long entry, speculating that we at least will near this resistance level or perhaps this resistance level up here for this upwards move. Definitely an interesting candidate. I'm going to add this one to our watch list as well. So right click, add to our watch list. And by the way, you can see it here. We had a trade note for NBM. You can see when this note icon here is filled out. This was a trade note. Let me just quickly see what we did on March 8th. Oh yeah, we called this out already at this point. So this was even better opportunity back then. We were right at this support level of the stock. We already saw a bit of a bounce to the upside, which could have been nice. They could have been taking some profits here. But now we're back in this level. And I think this may repeat itself just the same way. All right, perfect. This is NBN. What's next? Lincoln Educational, LINC. What do we have here? Yeah, kind of the same thing. Bullish for 448 trading days, a level 4 back to this key support level. And I like this because there's nothing below it. Yeah, we have the next level is just here at 11. This is a key level, and it coincides with this Emmy Rush third line. So also here, I think this is a nice bullish setup. Speculating, especially if you come down a little bit further, perhaps to the 450 area, 440 area, that we're going to see another leg further up for our target, perhaps around here. We're also going to add this one to our list. That looks good. And perhaps one more, Texas Pacific Land Trust. Okay. What do we see here? Kind of similar. Wow, it's very expensive stock at 1,273 currently. Huge, huge up move. And here I'd always be careful. This is a very parabolic move. Oftentimes, when such a big move happens, we're going to see a big retracement. Kind of right now, we are ranging between this level, 1,088, and this level here at 1,400. But I'll be careful here. I'm going to stay on the sidelines of this one. It's such a big move, and this consolidation phase, which for sure will now take place for a while, may stretch out for some time, and it may even go further down here. So I'm going to skip this stock. But you can see how easy it is to find interesting setups. And by the way, guys, don't wait for the weekend for looking for these setups. These setups come in after every single trading day. So when the market closes tomorrow, not tomorrow, on Monday, then you're going to see some new setups. Some new stocks will have qualified for exactly these criteria. Yeah, on Tuesday, you have new stocks, on Wednesday, and so forth. So it's definitely worthwhile to check out what's going on, what is of interest every single day.
Daniel,
Yes,
do you think we could take some time to knock out a couple questions?
let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, so Lars just says, here's a good number of put writing traders. So I think he's saying he's associated with a good number of put writing traders, and they're testing out trading indicators as a larger group. Sweet.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's especially put writing. You're selling puts. It's a bullish move. And if you can combine this, because selling options, of course, you collect the premium, which is great, especially if volatility is great. Maybe, when earnings are coming up, especially. And if this concerns a stock, which you perhaps have an interest in anyways, perhaps from an investment point of view, this could be a great idea to collect premiums. And of course, if the stock goes low enough, you would have to you have to buy the stock at this point. But if not, yeah, it's definitely an interesting way to collect premiums along the way. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, and now we can knock out these three comments in one.
Yeah.
So if we can go to Tesla's chart.
Oh, yes.
M. Holler just pointed out that Tesla closed right on the weekly 200 EMA. And then Kumar says, can you please recap how to use MA Rush to evaluate if something like Tesla has broken a trend, which I think we'd also use support and resistance for.
Yeah.
And lastly, so Kumar's is, how would you use MA Rush to check the trend here? And Anne said, can you show a symbol that has trend radar red in the last row, which is Tesla right here?
Oh, Trend Radar Red in the last row. Yeah, that's one of them. Okay, let's just quickly talk about Tesla. What did we see here? Let me just put on our liquidity IQ indicator. Okay, so we did have we broke above this resistance level about this one as well, and price of course flew up to 480, 489, and then this big retracement. But what is of most interest, and once again, I'm so excited for this new indicator we are building. Look at these big gaps here. We had this big up gap and this gap up.
That's actually, Daniel, sorry to cut you off, but Anne also asked before, where on the chart is the gap indicator?
Oh, we don't have it yet. It's coming. It's in development, and it might take a little while to get it done and get it right. But we have great ideas. As mentioned, Nicholas and I, we looked at some ideas last week where we not only are finding these gaps, of course, these can be found fairly easily just by looking at it, but we're also going to have some statistics. Hey, what is the chance, at least historically speaking, that this gap will be filled over time? What is the average gap fill time for this particular stock? Because this will be different from symbol to symbol, and so forth. So that's super interesting. And one idea that we had is, and this actually came to fruition very nicely here with Tesla, actually took a short here, is if we are already seeing a downwards move, potentially indicating, hey, we're seeing a downwards move, and there's an unfilled gap coming up, you could speculate this downwards move is going to continue until this gap is filled. And I actually took this one here. I saw this big red day coming in and say, hey, all right, now it's time that this gap will be filled here as well. And I actually put this trade on with my target exactly at this upper price here of this gap. And look where it stopped. Exactly there. This was a trade we had in Discord as well. A short trade in Tesla. Anticipating, hey, price is already moving in a bearish direction. And since it's moving bearish, we as well probably will fill this gap while we at it, basically, in this downwards move. And if this coincides with a key support level, hey, that's just another, idea to place your target exactly there. And then we saw this bit of a bounce off the support level. But I detour. What was the question regarding Tesla? Sorry.
How so?
Yeah.
There was a comment just saying it looks bearish. It just closed right on an important EMA. But Kumar said, how would you use MA Rush here to figure out if this is an uptrend or a downtrend on Tesla, or what the
Yeah.
outlook is?
Let me just quickly put the MA on. By the way, guys, you do have the option to add any of these built-in indicators to your charts. I'm just gonna add the MA here. I'm gonna configure it as my simple moving average, the SMA with period 200. All right. And
It might not look the same because of the smoothing.
and you set the weekly chart too. So let me go to the weekly real quick.
He said the weekly chart. I wasn't aware. Okay.
I think so, yeah. But yeah, we did close right there. I don't know. I mean, if this has any significance, I'm not sure. Look at how many times, without any doubt, this line has been crossed and didn't hold up as support or resistance. Some people say this is the key level for support and resistance. Not sure how important it is in this particular case here for Tesla. Maybe not so much. So I would not give it too much credit. Overall, my feeling, and of course this is not a trade advice at all, but that's just my feeling. I think the fact that Tesla has been so negatively in the news in the last weeks, I think this is all priced in now. So even if more negative news will come out, the recall of the Cybertruck, whatever, I think this is priced into some degree already into this bearish move. And my feeling is, again, it's the feeling we're going to see a bit of a correction to the upside instead of a further downwards move. That's my feeling. So don't hold my word for it, but fundamentals, and I see this every single time, they are almost immediately priced in. And more importantly, the expectation is also priced in already right now in this price right now. And I guess the expectation of Tesla was, hey, it's going to be negatively reported on. Even further moving forward, it's priced in. And this is where we're at right now. And I think this would just be a correction now, or this was a really deep correction of this bullish move, and we may see another leg further up. That's my idea.
Perfect.
Tesla.
And then one last one before we go forward from David. Could you please open up the chart Apple? And he wants to know, how do you interpret it when the nearest resistance zone and support zone are swapped so that your support is above price and resistance below price, which we'll see here if you had mentor mode on, that below us is a resistance and above us is support.
Oh, they're swapped. Yeah, this happens sometimes. And this is based on the logic that the indicator uses to find these zones. So support zones, they are determined by swing lows. You can see it here. There's some other factors which play a role, but these are swing lows which allow the indicator to identify support levels. Resistance levels, they are identified by swing highs, something like this. And sometimes the last qualifying swing high happens to be lower than the last qualifying swing low. It doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. And then you can see that these zones are swapped. And that's the only reason for this. But I would not personally put too much attention on this because support and resistance can swap roles all the time when they're broken. So when resistance is broken, it will act as support afterwards. And vice versa. If resistance is broken to the downside, it will act as if support is broken to the downside, it will act as a resistance. So I think don't worry. I would personally not worry too much about the fact that they are reversed because they swap roles anyways along the way.
Perfect. And then Kumar says, I still did not, I think I can give a quick answer for this. I still did not understand how to use MA Rush. So I'm going to send you a link. We have many boot camps on explaining them in depth. But MA Rush really is just meant to be a general momentum guidance based on what's happening on higher time frames. So on Tesla before when we saw it, even though price came down to a support, it was still technically bullish in the longer term. And the important thing is to combine MA Rush and Liquidity IQ instead of just using
Yeah.
them independently.
Yeah, exactly. So you get your best results if you are doing what we've just done right now. You're looking for, hey, a bullish stock, which this is MA Rush, which is currently at a key level as per Liquidity IQ, at a support level, and which perhaps has a key pullback, like a level 4 pullback. And then you find these key stocks here, which we just identified. All right, so we're going to look at some other symbols a bit later because I have one more setup I would like to discuss right now, which is our zone break retrace setup. So real quick, back to our slides, because, at some point, and we've seen it here already, every support level will eventually be broken and every resistance level will eventually be broken. But if this happens, new opportunities for us arise as well. Because oftentimes, once the level breaks, we see a nice follow through in the direction of the breakout, either to the short side if support is broken, or to the long side if resistance is broken. But there's one caveat. We have to be aware of the initial market fake out. What do I mean by this? Well, price will initially go up. Everything is hunky dory, blue skies, we're happy, but then this happens. Price retraces down back to the broken zone. We call this the initial market fake out. It happens all the time. Zone break, retracement, and then the move really takes off. All right. And this is actually a very powerful setup because if you're waiting for these retracements, yeah, you have already avoided the initial market fake out. And oftentimes after that, the price will really take off in the direction of the breakout. So how can we find these setups with our dashboard? Well, very easy. Back to our dashboard, I'm going to clean up all the filters. Done, cleaned up, and we're going to enter our new criteria. And this one is very easy. We're simply going to use our Liquidity IQ setup column here. All right. And we're going to scan for long break retrace. And it's very selective. You can see it here. Only 8 symbols have survived this filtering. Wow, that's not much. Some days we have more, but this, based on Friday's price action, only 8 symbols have survived. So then what I like to do is I like to sort them by trend duration. You can see it here. And the first one that comes up is actually a German stock. We have some German traders in the room. It's Hannover Rück SE. You can see it here. A stock which is bullish for 639 trading days. And since 2 bars, see this number 2 here, it is in a zone break retrace setup. We can see it very nicely. We broke above resistance. Price initially went up, and then we retraced towards this broken resistance level, now acting as support. So I like this one, and I'm going to add this one to our watch list as well, because here the expectation is perhaps you're going to wait for a little move further down to like 267 or something, and then enter long or scale into this long trade in the expectation or anticipation that this long-term uptrend for 639 trading days is going to continue. All right. Okay, next one on the list is PTGX, Protagonist Therapeutics Inc. Oh boy. Yeah, this is an example of a stock which I would not trade. Here we had the breakout, huge gap up, breakout, a bit of the retracement back here. I would be too scary. And if you guys want to take a chance, maybe, but I don't like this big gap here. Remember what I said about gap fills? This is definitely on the table here. So this retracement, believe it or not, we're so far away. We're miles away from this gap. It's not completely off the table. So here I would personally stay away from a long trade here. First off, this correction after this huge move is still quite shallow. After big moves, corrections tend to be a bit bigger and may go even further down. And if we do, maybe we're going to go all the way towards the gap fill. So here I would be careful. So I'm going to skip this one. AbbVie, ABBV. What's going on here? And I know that AbbVie was on our list a few times, I believe at some point even as a trade of the week. I can't remember, maybe in our newsletters at some point. So we did make all-time highs on March 10. And this is one of the stocks where, everything is going down, but AbbVie is thriving uh, beautifully. So here, I mean, all-time highs. Then the retracement back to the broken zone. Let me see if there's any key gaps which have not been filled yet. Now, this one down here. Once again, you never know over time, but here I'm more comfortable. Hey, this could be an interesting long opportunity, even though ideally, like this, the initial move to be a bit higher than this one, and then we come back. This was a bit shallow to me, so we have to be careful. It's not like a convincing zone break, but yeah, I'm definitely going to add it to our list to see uh, what's going to happen next week. So added this one and one more here, Kroger Co. All right. Also here, zone break. Oh, look at this one. Here we had it multiple times happening. Beautiful. Zone break, retracing back to the broken zone, up again. And now once again, we are nearing this broken resistance level. Let me just see what's going on here. Yeah, look at how bullish this stock is. Definitely an interesting one. Yeah, I like this one for a long trade. Once again, I would wait for this one. If we get, where's my symbol? Here we go. If we perhaps go down to this level here as our entry and then potentially enter into a long position of Kroger. But I'm going to add this one as well to our watch list. All right. And you can see how easy it is to just go through your hits here. Quickly look at the chart and then just make a quick decision of whether this could be of interest or not. What is this one here? Ah, I'll just, a custom go to a certain date feature. I guess that's kind of new. Okay. All right, guys. Do we have any questions so far, or should I be go through our hot list to see what's of interest for next week?
We have symbol requests, and I'm going to get back to you, Josie or Jose, with this Super Trend Bullseye question by chat.
Sounds good. Perfect. Okay. So for the symbol request, we're going to do this at the end. Let's go through our hot list to see which of these hits that we found are of most interest first. All right. There we go. So we have 6 stocks in our hot list, this hot list here. Let's see which ones are of interest. I'm going to sort them quickly by setup. So the first setup we're considering was our long bounce setup combined with a long-term bullish stock and a level 4 pullback. So NBN was the first one here. Loading up. There we go. Yeah, I like it. It's a nicely looking stock here. I anticipate that this consolidation phase is going to continue for a while, but there will be opportunities, and I think it's going to bounce between these levels for the weeks and months to come. So I'm going to add this definitely to our hot list once again. Sorry, not to hot list, to our I guess hot list for the next week. So I'm going to open up the trade notes. This was our last trade note for this stock on March 8th. I'm going to add a new one, and I'm going to add the screenshot of this chart to our trade notes as a reminder that yes, this is still an interesting long bounce idea for this particular stock. All right, done. Next one, LINC, Lincoln Educational. Yeah, I like it too. Here, I would wait personally to see if we get maybe closer to this level here for a potential entry. And then also here, bet on the fact that we are going to consolidate for a little while after this big move. Yeah, even though this gap is scaring me a little bit. Just quickly see what is this gap. 1 second. Yeah, this is a bit of a scary gap. I'm gonna put a little call out here. As I wrote last time, mind the gap. We have to be aware of it. It doesn't mean that we're gonna fill it right in this downwards move. We may bounce up for it, but I think over time, the chances are that these gap fills are. How can I move this 1 second? Not sure how I can move my price. There we go. Okay. All right. So this one here. Put this nice this price in here. Mind the gap. So we have to be aware of it. If we see this gap fill, I mean, in light of this gap here, and we may see this fill, what we could do is place our stop perhaps at this level here, 1369, instead of putting it right below here. I would perhaps put it here. If we see it, I think price may stop at this level, and then we're going to continue to the upside. So this could be a good indication of how much room I would give this trade to the upside. So let's enter this one also to our trade notes. Oops, wrong feature. There we go. Okay. So it's adding up. And by the way, guys, you can also dictate your trade notes in English and German. And of course, put regular typed in text here as well. And the cool thing about these trade notes is that it will keep all the annotations of your chart within your note. All right. German stock, Hannover Rück SE, long break retrace. I like it. I think that's an interesting candidate. I also here want to wait for a move a bit further down to this level here and then potentially enter into this long trade. So I'm going to add this one as well here to our notes. All right. Done. Kroger CO. All right. What do we have here? Same thing. I already annotated this one. So we already had the zone break here. Retracing back to the zone. And then once again, we are nearing this zone. Here, I would be just careful to put my stop loss at the minimum below the swing low here. So not right below this zone. I think it's possible that our stop loss will go all the way, or the stock may all retrace all the way to the swing low. So we have to give this trade a bit more room. And here, perhaps it could be a good idea to scale into a position step by step. Should we retrace a bit further? So, and this is a good example of using technicals on your chart, like swing lows and swing highs, to find targets and stop losses, like in this case. All right, so I'm going to add this one as well. Good old Kroger and AbbVie. Okay, AbbVie Inc. Long break retrace. Yes, so here I said I would love to see this a bit further up, and we had this gap also down here. I think this gap is it's miles away, but we said the same thing about Tesla. I'm not saying that right now we may see this will be an attempt of filling this gap. I think we're too far away. And if you were a gap trader, I at the minimum would like to see price to retrace all the way to perhaps this level. If we do, then I think an interesting trade would be to go short and anticipate this gap fill here. But right now we're too far away. This may take too long, if ever. But if price actually comes down here, nearing the gap fill, this could be an interesting short trade. Because then I think it's a fairly big chance that, hey, once we're nearing all the way this level, this gap fill is definitely in the books. All right. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't like the fact that we're so shallow above this the zone break and then retrace right away. So we have to be careful, but I'm going to add it anyways. Just be careful that this is not the cleanest setup, but because typically we want to see a bit of a bigger move above and then the retracement back to the broken zone. And Abbott Laboratories, it's the one we stumbled upon coincidentally. I like it. I like the fact that we had this big gap down here. I think this gap will be filled at the minimum in the weeks to come. We have this key support level here, which was prior resistance. So I like this one for a long trade. Perhaps a bit more of a retracement. I always say this to get a better entry price, put your stop just below here for a long trade of AbbVie. So I like this one as well. All right, perfect. Good, good candidates for the week ahead. I'm excited to see how these are gonna play out. And now it's time for questions. All right, which questions do we have, Nicholas? Symbol requests.
Yeah, we have symbol requests, and I'm just answering someone here. Sorry
And your
about that, my
microphone.
microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm just answering Kumar here. So Kumar, please let me know which page and videos you're referencing because we do have password protected ones, but it depends on what you're speaking about. So the first symbol request is from M Holler, BKSY.
All right.
BKSY.
So I'm gonna go to our end of day scanner, BKSY. This one, we don't
Yeah,
have
that's
it.
the symbol.
Okay, it's currently not in our dashboard. That's actually a good segue. If there's a symbol missing in our dashboard, please send us an email with the symbol name, and we're gonna edit. This is something which is on our to-do list right now. Currently, we're tracking 5,000 symbols. We want to pump up this list to at least 8,000. So please send us a quick note, and we're going to add this. So I'm gonna look at this in TradingView. So tradingview.com. All right. Of course, our indicators are also available in TradingView. We do have lifetime options for our purchase of our indicators. So check out our homepage, tradingindicators.com, to see how this works. So BKSY, Black Sky Technology. All right.
And if you select one of our templates in the top right where it says July 30th, it might be a faster way of getting our indicators up. The drop down.
This one. Did I just override it? It doesn't matter. I just do it.
Maybe that's okay.
I do it by hand. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to add Liquidity IQ to it. Not sure which one it is. Let's see this one. And our MA rush indicator. There we go. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Okay, so we are definitely trading near a support level. Absolutely. This was a huge move up. So I'm always scared after these big parabolic moves. See how deep these corrections will be? Massive. Then we had this big gap. And gaps can get filled in both directions. So this is definitely a bullish sign combined with the fact that we are still bullish as per MA Rush and we are at a key support level. So yeah, I mean, if you want to take a shot, this is definitely not my cup of tea or my kind of stock. This is just a bit too erratic. And I don't know what happened in the past with this stock here. Yeah. Oh boy. It is a bearish stock over on the long term. Where does this thing come from? Oh boy. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Too speculative. It went all the way from 130 now down to oh boy. Down to where are we? Yeah, I don't know. If anything, I'd say it's a bearish stock. I don't have much. Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, to say the least, for this one. So I'm not certain the skeptical will happen. It might, if you want to take a shot, but overall, this is just way too bearish for me. So this is at best just a correction within this huge bearish move, and then we see this bearish move to continue to the downside.
Perfect. Okay. And then back to the dashboard. Can we
Yeah.
look at Pepsi, please?
Yes, Pepsi. All right. Okay, so bearish since for 89 trading days now. It is of course optional, a healthy dividend. Let me just quickly see. Increasing dividend payments. That's nice if you're a dividend investor. These could be interesting stocks because they're relatively cheap now. And dividend yield is not bad. Dividends seem to increase over time as well, the dividend yield. And yeah, we did switch to bearish. As per MA Rush on this point here, but overall, we are at this key support level, which we just hit. All right. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't like the fact that it's bearish, but if you are planning for a longer term investment in Pepsi, perhaps even considering dividends that are paid out along the way, this could definitely be an interesting one as price have dropped quite a bit, you know. Um, but I think overall, it's been bullish. You can see it here. This is just a huge correction within this bullish move. Prices came all the way up to almost 200, now at 141. So you get Pepsi at a discount. We do have another key support level here at 128. But yeah, if you want to take a shot, it could be something of interest to perhaps seek longer term investment opportunity in Pepsi. But for swing trading, this would be too risky for me because we just turned bearish. I don't like to go against MA Rush sentiment, but for longer term moves, potentially this could be something of interest. Sort of curious, what does MA Rush say from the weekly point of view? Yeah, we also switched to bearish here. So yeah, I'm not sure. Personally, I would stay on the sidelines with Pepsi, but perhaps if you're a dividend investor, it could be of interest because this may just be, a fib retracement of this move up here. We had this big move from here all the way to here. Now we're here at this level. Yeah, we're nearing the 61.8 retracement. So if you want to take a shot for some bullish exposure in Pepsi, this could be the level. Yeah, but this would be long-term investment, not swing trading.
Perfect. Okay. And then can we look at Meta?
Yeah. Good old Meta. Where is it? There we go. All right. Oh yeah, I got Meta. Just quickly look at them. Ah, beautiful. Look at zone break, retrace, almost there. I like it. Emmy Rush is a level 4 pullback. You can see it here. The first 4 levels are reddish, and we're nearing this cluster here. So yeah, definitely of interest to get Meta at a discount. It's of course it's one of the great companies that are out there. So if we see, I personally would, again, I'm super conservative. I would wait until the price drops into this level and then look for a long trade off this support level, which happens to coincide with this resistance level. So that I believe oftentimes strengthens this level any further. So yeah, definitely it's something of interest to look for a long opportunity here in Meta if price drop a bit further.
And they're both in a nice round number range, like 520 to 550. And the next one is MDAX. So the MDAX performance index, I guess that's what we have in our dashboard.
Yeah, this is for the mid caps, German mid cap index. Yeah, Interesting one here. We had the zone break, now the retracement back to this level. Yeah, it is not as clean as the large cap, the DAX in Germany, but also here one could speculate, hey, if we go to this support level here, this now support level, former resistance level, we may speculate, hey, this is gonna initiate another move higher. But it's not as clean. So I like the DAX better because it's a cleaner trend here. It's like a kind of yeah, all over the place for the German mid caps, kind of stuck in this range between here and here. So what kind of range bound? So you have to manage your expectations, even if we see a break above or zone break retrace from here, this would be probably your target just below 30,000.
Perfect. And just a reminder for everyone for Zoom, if you asked a question, because I saw a couple questions get asked at the same time, I don't think you saw the response. So when we answer your question, I think it's showing the answered tab. So just be sure to check to see if your thing was answered. And from M. Holler here, could you look at MRVL? Some Marvel, I guess.
Yeah,
And
Marvel.
apparently there's a gap to fill, a gap up.
Yep. Yep. Definitely gap up. Long-term bullish, 445 trading days. Just zoom in a little bit and okay. Where are we? Yeah, definitely a big gap down. I like it. Too bad we're not near a key level. So, gap fills can happen, but they don't happen often immediately. Uh, I think this gap will be filled probably over time, but where will this downwards move stop? That's a bit hard to say because we are nowhere near this level. So maybe even only here down here at 53 before price perhaps will turn around. Um, for some immediate action, I don't know. I would be careful. We also have this resistance level here, which may drive price further down, and this gap fill may take a while to come. So just be careful there. Even though gaps tend to get filled, there's no one to say, hey, when will this gap fill happen? This may take a while.
Perfect. Okay. And then the next one is XOVR.
XOVR. Okay. Trading view. Okay, what is going on? Another one of these. What happened here? Yeah, interesting one. Definitely we're bullish for the stock since Jan 2024 for about a year. Now we are hitting this former resistance level. Nice bounce off. Yeah, I like it for a zone break retrace. Good call. Definitely bullish setup here once again. If we see retracement perhaps to this level, we kind of missed it here. Another retracement. Then I would speculate on a bounce towards just below this former support level, now acting as resistance. So maybe here at 1750 or something.
Perfect. Okay. And then a comment from Mark Hoff. How many stocks other than JP Morgan do you have for daily signals on Discord? So, Mark, we currently have 20 symbols for all of our alerts. They're just very rare on the daily chart for everything to line up, but we're going to be adding more. So, definitely that's coming soon. That's a great reminder.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next symbol request is ABV, ABBV, and
We
Anne
just
says it looks like a bullish flag.
yeah,
ABBV, yeah, there.
yeah, we just had it in our thing. I think this is actually on our list for our interesting
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
and
okay, it was just a comment, I guess.
it's definitely flagging a bit. I just don't like the fact that it's just so shallow, this breakout. That was my only concern. But yeah, it's of interest. And what did I say here about the stop loss? Did we put something in here? No, I don't think we did. Yeah, I just had this little comment that, hey, I would love to see a bit of a higher move break and then the retracement. This was a bit shallow. But overall, it's of interest. And note this gap here. It doesn't have to be filled now. So you may see another leg higher, but something to be aware of, that gaps tend to get filled. Yeah. And look this one here. So here you may think, hey, we had this huge gap, it may get filled, but then price went all the way further down to this level before, and then down again, and then eventually it was filled over time. So these gap fills, they actually can take quite some time to fill.
Perfect, okay. And the next symbol is Goldman Sachs.
All right, GS Goldman Sachs. Let's type it in. All right. Okay. So bullish for 319 trading days. Now a long bounce near support level. Yeah, definitely bullish. This reminds me of the SPY where we went all the way below the support level. It didn't hold up, and then we bounced off the third line of the S&P, sorry, the S&P, the ME Rush line here, and now we're on the way further up. Here, what's more encouraging is that first off, is this another gap we just filled? I'm so obsessed with these gaps today. Huh? Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, look at this. Bang. Over time, another gap fill. And honestly, if it's just an idea, and we're gonna prove it or disprove it or do our due diligence. If we see a move like this, which is nearing a gap fill, I think this could be great potential to set your target for this bearish move. It's gonna stop here at this gap fill. This is not a coincidence. So, anyways, to come in the next couple of weeks or months. Yeah. So here, the encouraging sign for Goldman is that we are now back above this support level. It's different in the SPY. I told you this is perhaps a little bit similar, but it's here we also bounced in the SPY off this third line, but we're still below the support level, which is not so encouraging. But for Goldman, it's a bit better. We made it back above this level. And of course, if this happens, hey, you know, next target might be as well all the way up here. So this is a nice, interesting symbol for sure. I like it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's always had a lot of nice setups, Goldman Sachs. And the next one's from Aubrey, looking for some energy exposure, XOM.
Perfect. Yeah, here it is, Exxon Mobil. Nice dividends. What is this one here? 7.99. Just 1 second. Come on. Oops. Sorry. Pop-up's not going up. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So XOM, Exxon Mobil. Yeah. A little bit messy. Bearish momentum here. Just go to the yeah, I don't know. It looks very sideways to me. We're kind of in the middle now. We just broke above this resistance level. Ah, to me, too messy to trade. It's everybody's take where price is going to go next year with ExxonMobil. Of course, we have resistance fairly far away now that we broke above this former resistance level. Maybe this could be an encouraging sign, but I don't like it that it's paired with this bearish momentum indicated by ME Rush here. So to me, too messy, too sideways to trade.
Agreed. And here from Anne, a question: do those 3 lines from MA Rush show up on TradingView?
Yeah.
And the answer is if you have to purchase the indicator for TradingView and have access to it, and then apply it to the chart.
But if you have it, then yeah, the lines are here. You can see it here. The lines are showing up.
Perfect. Okay, and then the next symbol request is from Papa MSFT Microsoft.
Yes. What's going on with Microsoft? Long bounce. I like that. Very, very bullish. Of course, it's Microsoft and level 2 pullback, and now long bounce near a support level. I like it. It's been a bit sideways. Microsoft had this big move up, sideways consolidation, but at this key support cluster, and definitely an interesting stock for long exposure now after this big pullback. And also Microsoft, I think, is a stock which you can hold over time. There's nothing wrong with this. Very low dividends though, but overall, yeah, I like it. So definitely from an investment point of view, I think you can't go wrong. Well, of course you can, but the chances are that you will be wrong with Microsoft are quite low if you go long here.
Yeah, it's nice too because now you have a lot of liquidity captures, and now you can use that recent lower pivot, like pivot low, as your stop, because it's probably going to go to the next level below if it loses that.
Yeah.
Okay, the next symbol is XLE.
Energy. Yeah, let's see. What is the energy sector ETF doing? Yeah, sideways, just like oil. Of course, this is more diversified like oil, but it's sideways. It came to that this resistance line here. We're on a short bounce setup, and it is sideways. Look at these back and forth, and yeah, you could
Bearish MA Rush too, which is a nice short bounce.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Interesting for a short trade. Just manage your expectation. The next support level is already here at 87, so it may be a bit short-lived, or maybe here to 83. But yeah, definitely if you want to speculate, there might be a bounce to the short side to come.
Perfect. And then last 2 symbols here, APP, I think App Lovin Corp or something.
App, okay. This one, Apple Corp, yeah. Okay, all right. Another bounce off this level here. Oh, this is one of those stocks where, and we're gonna fix this. So I always look, my first look is always at this column here. What does ME Rush tell me? Is it bullish or bearish, and for how long? This is one of these rare stocks where ME Rush, since the beginning of time, at least for this stock, It's always been in one direction. There was never been a change. So of course it's bullish. It is very bullish. But since there's never been a swap from bearish to bullish, this dash is shown here. We're gonna fix this. So this should be shown as bullish for a long, long time. So definitely bullish. Huge parabolic move. You know my opinion about these moves. What happens when these parabolic moves happen? There's also this gap here. We bounced off this level. Uh, and yeah, you may want to speculate that hey, it's gonna go one leg further up, maybe close these gaps here, possibly, but also be aware of this gap, which is definitely a distinct possibility. To me, just too volatile. Is it optionable? Yeah, it is. But maybe if you can get the options fairly cheap, if prices calm down a little bit, I think in the long term, especially for a strangle trade, let's look at option prices. I think price is going to move one way or the other to fill any of these bigger gaps. So that could be of interest. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Okay. And the last one, Robinhood, HOOD.
Robin Hood. There we go. Nope. H H
Hood,
O.
yeah.
Don't we have this stock?
HOOD.
Ah, yeah, got it. All right, Robin Hood. Yeah, beautiful bounce at the support level here. Look at this, very bullish for 300 trading days. It's almost 2 years. Peaked all the way at 68. Big retracement. Yeah, these parabolic moves, the bigger, the stronger the move, the stronger the retracement. That's very reliable. Down here, we just filled this gap. So we gap down all the way here. This has been filled. Is there anything of interest here? Skip this. Yeah, so the next gap would be here. That's coincides with this former resistance level which was broken. But yeah, to me, quite bullish. If we see perhaps another retracement down to this level, consider a long trade. This looks just very nicely, consistently bullish, especially since we had such a clean bounce off this support level. Yeah, seems to respect these levels very nicely, the stock. All right. Great.
Perfect. That's all the symbol requests.
Whew. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys. That was awesome. Once again, a very lively session. Lots of symbol requests, lots of interest, and yeah, that was fun from my point. So a couple of quick reminders. If you don't have our ebook yet, the link is in the chat. Get the Power of Three for additional explanation of why we like these setups so much. And of course, if you want to try out our great Liquidity View dashboard with watch list and trade notes and all these different scans, dividends, earnings, and so forth, check it out here at tradingindicators.com/view. You get a full week of a free trial. And if you want to stick around, we have interesting monthly and yearly options for the dashboard. And of course, if you haven't checked out our bootcamp yet, the link is here. It's also on the chat, tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. And I think there was a question, what does the R score mean? Check out the bootcamp. It's explained there in detail what these different readings of the dashboard are. All right, perfect. And of course, we have Discord. And if we forgot any questions, you can always reach out to us via our homepage, tradingindicators.com. Go to the main menu, click on Contact, put your question into the contact form, submit it, and it will go straight to my inbox, and we'll make sure to get back to every single question. Sometimes it takes a little while because there are many questions. We always try to answer them in as much detail as possible, which takes a little time, but we make sure to get back to every single question. With this, guys, I hope you all have a great weekend. Take some well-deserved break, and let's see what the markets will do on Monday. And we're going to see each other again on, when is it? Tuesday for our lunch and learn. And what else did we have next week? Oh, we have a big announcement for all the Motivate users among you on, now I forgot the day, I think on Wednesday or maybe Thursday, we have a big webinar with Motivate. The announcement is to come where we will showcase the latest version of Volume IQ for Motivate, how we can trade with that. So stay tuned for this as well. All right, guys, with this, stay safe, happy trading, and talk soon. Bye-bye. Thanks, Nicholas.